we start, let's have a look at the dynamic markings on your music. You may have some, you may have a lot, or you may have none. This will vary depending on the edition you're playing on, and each editor will have their own interpretations. The reason for that is when Bach wrote this music about 300 years ago, he hasn't left us any dynamic markings. I will be playing Minuet 1 in a nice mezzo forte sound, which has a nice, healthy, comfortable, and projecting sound. And then I will be making some changes in dynamic depending on each phrase. So let's learn the phrases in Minuet 1. I will be playing in a medium tempo, and I'm going to exaggerate the end of each phrase by taking more time. Let's practice playing in mezzo forte with healthy, ringing, and projecting sound. And I'm going to call this a glued bow on the string, where the bow is glued on the string, like this. When the bow is not glued, we might be getting this kind of sound. Or where the bow is glued too much, then we'll be getting this kind of sound. So it's important to find the right amount of glued bow. Let's look at bar 4, the chord with the trill. First, you need to practice without the trill. And you have to play 2 strings at all times. Here's 2, and here's another 2. Now in tempo. Now let's practice the trill separately. Traditionally in Baroque music, people used to trill starting from the top note, like this. In opposed to. So talk to your teacher or choose whichever one you like more. Now let's add the trill with the chord. One more time. Please note that this is an end of a phrase, so your last note here should not be too loud, so you have to be gentle with your up bow. Next phrase. The crotchets in bar 8. Let's play them with nice round and ringing sound, like this. So my bow shape will be also kind of round in this shape, or semicircle. Next phrase. separately. And here are the first 3 notes in second position. Next 3 notes in upper third position with a stretch. Now together. In this position change, your leading finger will be your first finger. And here's your first finger playing the F sharp. Keep your focus on the first finger, which is going to move to your G. One more time. It's good to practice going into bar 9. So we're going to go from bar 8 and we're going to keep our first finger as our leading finger. One more time. Let's look at bar 12. Here we have a big leap on the string crossing. Now we have to pay attention to our right elbow, which is going to take you from this string to this string. And we're going to prepare the elbow in advance, which means when you're playing the low note, it's going to move towards the A string. It's okay to take a little bit of time on your A. Let's play the A by itself, like this with the elbow. Next phrase. Beginning of bar 14. To make this smooth, your first finger needs to be flat, like this. Now let's add the elbow preparation for the leap here. So while you're playing the G, the elbow is heading towards the A. Going into bar 17, practice going into your second position. In this case, your leading finger is the second finger. Bar 19, third position. Now let's practice going into it by adding 2 notes beforehand. In this case, your leading finger is your first finger. Bar 22, practice your second position, and this one you need to stretch your first finger. Go from the beginning of the bar, and leading finger is second finger. Second minuet, phrasings. Each phrase is going to be longer than the first minuet. So the musical character of this minuet is rather sad, melancholy, and playing something more inwards rather than outgoing like the minuet one. For the general dynamic, I like to play this with around mezzo piano, and we're going to work on playing really smooth and delicate sound. Bar 1. Let's look at the last three notes. Depending on your edition, we might have tenuto markings or staccato markings or nothing. What we want to do is have slight separation between each note. We don't want the notes to be too separated, then it will sound really like a staccato. So let's draw this shape on your bow. Like a cloud. It's kind of stopping, but not really. Now let's work on your intonation. This is the beginning, which is the lower third position. And I would like you to try playing every note of your finger. Also, go to the next string and try the same thing. One more. Now stay in this shape and play the first two bars. And you will be in tune. The last bar of the first phrase. We want the first two notes to be slurred as much as possible. It's impossible to have a true slur with your bow because we simply have to jump one string to get to another. So we are going to give an illusion so that it sounds like a slur. So you need to make a nice ringing sound on the low D string by releasing your bow slightly after you play it. You can hear the ringing. While your D is ringing, that's your time to move to the upper note. And here it is in a slow motion. So we're going to release after play the D. Next phrase. Practice going into your lower second position by having your first finger as your leading finger. One more time. Beginning of the last phrase, bar 41. Intonation practice again. Choose your leading finger, first finger. Now third finger. One more time. Let's go on until we get to the low F sharp. So here is your third position, first finger. It's good to practice your fourth position, where your thumb goes all the way down the neck, and when you play your first finger, it should be a nice sounding G. You can compare it with a G string. Now if you go half step lower, that becomes your third position, F sharp. Now your practice is to go from one bar before and try to aim for a nice F sharp. starting with the F sharp. Now focus on my first finger. As you can see, I had to stretch my first finger to play the C natural. Normal stretch. So we are going from the upper third position to your lower third position. Again, the last phrase, starting from bar 41. I want to think this as something like question and answer, and see if you can hear the question marks. Now, this is a big question. Maybe a smaller question. And here's an answer. Happy practicing!